Hello everybody, happy Tuesday. We're running just a couple minutes late. Sorry guys. I had a kiddo who needed mommy to finish doing a puzzle with her. So, all right, I hope you guys are doing good today. I'm super excited for today's live. We're gonna start doing more of these, at least one a week. I might start popping in more too, because I just honestly, sorry, my nose is itching. I really enjoy doing lives for you guys, and I am going to try to do more written stuff though. That way, if you cannot watch the video, you can still get as much benefit as possible. I'm also trying not to make them super long. So hello, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining. Yay. All right. So I'm trying not to make them super long too, because my biggest goal with these videos is to really build out the guides section of this group so that you can access the exact training or coaching or support or whatever you're needing in that moment to really help you continue moving forward. So I'm not looking to like yammer on for an hour or something like that, unless we're doing like an intensive workshop. But of course, that's kind of like a pre-planned thing that'll happen down the road. So today we're going to dig into the single best trick to exercise consistently and get results. So, what was it? I think it was like January. It was December. We did a kind of getting back to series. And then I had pulled that series down. So you needed to subscribe to my mailing list to get it. I'm going to be putting that back up. It's going to have its own little guide section. So let me know if you would like me to tag you in that as soon as it's up. It'll be up later this week for sure. But it's 4 videos. Each of them is like getting back to exercising, getting back to eating healthily, getting your energy back, and then getting your stress managed. So those are the 4 pillars that I really build a lot of my coaching around. So it's a really good starting place. And I decided that really needs to be a guide for everybody here that you can access. So if you want me to tag you in that, let me know. For those of you guys who watched it, today's tip is going to be a bit of a reminder, I should say, from the Getting Back to Exercising video. It is the top tip. In that video, I actually shared 4 big tips. They're really like my top 4 tips. Today, I'm going to remind you of the most important one. And then we're going to dig into really how you can make this work for you, depending on where you're at. We're going to dig into that a little bit more. So feel free to share if you have comments, if you have questions, if you want to share a bit about your experience, please feel free to do that in the comments so I can respond to you as we go through this. But I hope you get a lot of value out of this today. So definitely let me know how this all lands for you. So Sherry, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you are doing really well too. It's great to see you as always. So let's see. I have my notes here so I don't jabber too much and we stay on task and we make this really powerful for you guys. So this tip is definitely the game changer. It's actually been a huge game changer for a couple of my clients. One of my clients was the one who really stumbled across how powerful this can be. So I'll share a little bit about her story too. So the biggest thing that I want to start with, because we're going to be digging into how we can really make this work for you. And this is going to be a video that I do here in the next week or two. But you really need to know where you are at so that you can really make this work for you. Because generally, if you have tried to do this and it's not working, you've tried to start exercising consistently and it's just not working, it's usually because you are not gauging where you are at accurately. And this is not a knock on you. This is something that we all do because we're very not only ruled by our egos, ruled by the external stuff. We talk about that a lot in here, how the health and fitness industry is really good at making us think that there are things that we should be doing or that we have to do. And so it really clouds our judgment in being able to accurately determine where you are at. So don't feel bad. This is not a judgment thing. I just want you to know that if you have been trying to exercise consistently and it doesn't seem to be working, it's most likely because you're not actually aligning where you are truly at with the actions that you're assigning yourself. So Those, and I'm going to dig into these much more in depth in another video, but just to kind of outline it. So there's basically 3 phases that I see most people in. And these are the 3 phases that I love to meet people at, in the coaching that I do. So phase number 1 is basically where you're in survival mode. So phase 1 is where you're really aiming to get out of survival mode. And so there, of course, are going to be specific actions that you can do and certain goals and expectations that you really want to set for yourself if you're in this particular space of just trying to get out of survival mode. Phase 2 is where you are really focusing on getting those foundations in place. This is a phase that most people skip. So, because the foundations are not sexy, they don't always sound fun. It's hard to believe they're going to be super effective, especially with all of the fad diets and exercises going on. Thank you, health and fitness industry and social media. Yeah. But the foundations are huge, and they are actually absolutely critical, not only into ensuring you never go back to survival mode, they're also critical to ensuring that you really get the full oomph of phase 2, which is being able to actually thrive on autopilot. And you got to have those foundations in place in order to get to phase 3 and to be successful in phase 3. And hi, Kristen. Thank you so much for joining. It's lovely to see you. So phase 3 is going to be where you're actually ready for a challenge. And phase 3 is what the health and fitness industry likes to throw everybody into. It's like the fad diets, the boot camp style workouts, the challenges, all of that. And generally, most people will get some level of success from them because most often, a lot of this stuff is at least based in some kind of truth where it should be effective to a degree. But usually if you don't have those foundations from phase 2, and if you are still actually struggling to get out of survival mode, you really will have limited returns during phase 3 of actually getting to challenge yourself. But if you can go from phase 1 to 2 and then to 3, the challenge can actually be a lot of fun. It can be a really great source of personal growth and a huge leap towards those big goals that you might have for yourself. So that's all I'm going to say on this for right now. So the big thing is think about where you might be, like which phase might you be in? And you can drop in the comments. Do you think that you are in phase 1 where you're really just trying to get out of survival mode? Or are you in phase 2 where you're getting those foundations down, you're working on being able to just thrive every single day? Or are you more in phase 3 where you are truly and genuinely ready for a challenge? You've really got those other 2 phases down. So drop in the comments 1, 2, or 3, which is where you think you might be at. I'm going to take a breath because I'm talking really fast. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yeah, let me know which phase you think you might be at. And the reason why we want to know this, again, is because to decide how we're going to make this big tip work for you, we need to know where you're at. So let me talk really quick. This is one I've probably done way too many videos on why consistency is important. So again, I'm just going to quickly recap this just so that it's top of mind because that's part of the title, right? The single best trick to exercising consistently and getting results. So why is consistency important? Because it's what gets you results. Really, truly. And there's many definitions for consistency. It's truly in finding what consistency is, what it means to you, how it works for you. Everything that I'm going to teach you in this group is very much how can we make this work for you? This is not cookie cutter stuff. But I want you to think about what is consistency to you? What are you wanting consistency to look like? And then actually, what are you needing it to look like? And I'm going through all of these previous videos I've done. So if you want me to tag you in one of the videos where I go a little more in depth into really evaluating consistency, let me know in the comments and I will tag you when I get everything organized. So the biggest thing to keep in mind about consistency and why it's so important is because it really is what allows you to be successful. Because whether you're in phase 1, 2, or 3, any action that you're going to take you have to actually do it regularly in order to get the results. None of this stuff is like you do it once and it works for forever. That's not how that works with your body. Your body craves consistency. It really does. And so the biggest thing is when you are able to be consistent, not only are you going to get those results, but you're also proving to yourself that you're capable of being consistent. It builds massive self-trust and massive self-confidence. And actually, you really need those. It's an improvement on your relationship with your body, right? When you build that self-trust, you build that self-confidence, suddenly you know what you're capable of, and you have a far better outlook on life, and you have a far healthier relationship with your body and your mind. And then you're actually able to recognize the progress you make. Because a lot of times I'll see that people have actually made the progress. They've actually met the goals that they wanted to meet, but they can't see it because they didn't actually build that relationship with their body, and they still hate their body. And so they can't actually see what their body's already done for them. And so that's where consistency and building that self-trust, building that self-confidence are so incredibly powerful. So this is why we want to get you consistent. Plus, a big thing to keep in mind, especially if you have felt like you have tried stuff and it hasn't worked, usually one of two things are happening, and it's all consistency related. It's either you actually weren't as consistent as you thought you were being, and you didn't stick it out long enough. You weren't staying consistent long enough to really get the results you were looking for. And that's where I can come in and really help, because a lot of times you're kind of like doing this in the dark, right? You're just like, I'm going to try this, and you don't really know how long you need to try. You don't always know the things to look for to know that you're on the right track, because like there's going to be all this space, right, between starting it and then like actually getting to your goal. There's all this stuff in between, and how do you know that you're on the right track? That's where I can come in and help. So let me know if that's you. So let me see. Yeah, that's about what I wanted to say on consistency there. So let me know how that's landing with you too. Let me know what your relationship is with consistency. So Sherry, you're saying you're about a 1 right now. You're still getting out of that survival mode. So awesome. I'm going to actually break down how this can look for each phase here in just a sec, but feel free as we're talking about it to share if you've got any like specifics, any of your experience that you want to share. Feel free to drop that in the comments, and I can speak a little more specifically to that. So let's actually talk about what the trick is now that I've been talking for a few minutes. So the trick, this is truly like the single most important trick that you can do to actually exercise consistently and get results. It's honestly simply to commit to daily exercise. And we're speaking about exercise specifically today. You could probably make this trick work for just about everything. If you simply commit to doing it, the rest can follow. Now, I'm going to get that getting back to exercise video up, because I dig a little bit more into a few of the other areas that you'll want to really consider as you are figuring out how to make this work for you. So I will tag you. If you want me to tag you in that, drop a comment for me to let me know. And I will tag you as soon as that's up too. So for today though, so the big reason why this is so powerful, one of my clients, we were really trying to get her away from this like all or nothing mentality that's very self-defeating, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm going to commit to exercising every day, and this is the workout I'm going to do every single day without fail. And the problem with that is that you usually are setting yourself up for failure, because you are making basically a very autocratic decision without your body's input. We talk a lot about listening to your body. And when you commit to something in that way, that's very all or nothing, black or white, dogmatic sort of way of thinking, you're not actually leaving space for your body to give its input as well. And so what we really want to do is commit to daily exercise while being open to listening to your body. So literally the only thing you're doing is committing to moving each day. And then each day you're going to decide, what is my body actually up for today? What sounds good? This is where those 3 E's come in. They're one of my favorite tools. So you want to ask yourself, do I believe this is going to be effective? Am I going to enjoy it? And is it easy to do? Am I 90 to 100% confident that I can do this? And if it meets all 3 of those, then go do it. And you will build that self-trust and that confidence. You will build that healthier relationship with your body. And you will be consistent to the point where you're going to start getting results, especially as you do this every single day. So the biggest thing is start by just committing to moving. This is what my client did. She's like, I'm just going to commit to moving. And each day she would just do whatever sounded best, what sounded easiest, what sounded most enjoyable. And of course, what she actually believed was going to be useful. But you really do have to temper what do you think is going to be effective with also what's going to be easy and enjoyable. Otherwise, you just land yourself in I have to go do a boot camp style workout camp. And that's not fun for everybody. And you definitely shouldn't be doing that every day, even if you do enjoy it. So topic for another time. All right. So yeah, that's 2 of my clients now have actually done this, where they've simply made this commitment to exercise daily. And when they've made this commitment, the follow through has been incredible because they've removed all of the expectations, all of the chances for failure. It's literally they either do something, anything, or they do nothing. And so it's very easy when there's no other expectations. There's no time limits. There's no crazy goals that they have to meet. They are literally just committing to moving. And that is really powerful. I really, 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 really recommend starting there. And that's for whichever phase you're in. So let's dig in a little bit. There's one lady who had been reaching out to me in the DMs. I'm going to use her story, her goals as an example. But I'm not going to call her out or anything. So, but I hope this is helpful if she is watching. So the big goal here is wanting to lose some belly fat and wanting to improve her skinny legs, but nothing seems to be working. So we've already touched a little bit on the nothing seems to be working. Some of the root problems are often that you have that misalignment with where you are at, with the expectations and the actions that you're assigning yourself. So double check on that. Are you really in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3? And we're going to dig into what it might look like now for which phase you're in. So phase 1, again, is where you're really just trying to get out of survival mode. This is not the time to be setting yourself goals of going to the gym class every single day of the week. This is where we have very different expectations on what exercise really should be. If you're in survival mode, exercise actually really needs to be a tool that's contributing to de-stressing you, not adding stress. So that means your workouts really should not be intense at this point, because otherwise you're just adding more and more stress onto your body that your body's already not really recovering from as well as it could. So when you're aiming to get out of survival mode, the biggest thing with this is that the most basic form of this tip, right? Simply committing to moving each day. Moving with no expectation for how long it's going to be, like how long you're going to force yourself to move. It shouldn't be a force. There's no expectation on what specific workout you're going to complete. You're simply going to get your butt up and you're going to move in a way that feels good is really important. And ideally in a way that really encourages you to breathe, like fully and deeply, as well as movement that generally helps you de-stress and just actually relax. Like you should feel relaxed by the time you're done with the workout or whatever movement you're doing. It doesn't even have to be a workout in this phase. Not like exhausted, but just like you've released a little bit. So that really should be your top goal in phase 1. And let me know, Sherry especially, I know you dropped a 1 in here, so let me know how that lands with you and if you have any questions on that one. So the breathing, that's actually something I really love digging into in the core challenge and the cardio challenge, both of which we will be redoing again this year in the next couple of months. So they're coming. They're coming. Let me know if you have questions on that in the meantime, though. So yeah, phase 1, getting out of survival mode. Your movement is simply to move in ways that feel good, that encourage you to breathe, release, like if it's dancing, if it's whatever feels good, and so that you ultimately feel just kind of like relaxed and released by the end. So if you are in phase 2, where you are really working on those foundations, and again, this is you can apply this to you. I am trying to use this particular example of wanting to lose belly fat, wanting to improve skinny legs. And so honestly, if you're in phase 1, that's really the guideline I just gave you is pretty much what it's going to be for absolutely anyone, no matter your particular goals. There are, of course, other things that we can be doing lifestyle-wise with diet, movement, energy, stress management, lots and lots of other things that we can be doing that specifically support that goal of like losing weight, losing belly fat, and improving tone in your legs. But really, when we're talking about exercise specifically, that's the goal for exercise. It needs to help contribute to de-stressing you and getting you out of survival mode before we worry about anything else. Then when you're ready for phase 2, where you're actually like consistently thriving, we're trying to really get that on autopilot and really build those foundations. That is where, for this goal specifically, that's where we would want to add in the core challenge. And doing some more cardio and actually making cardio fun and enjoyable. And again, continuing to really breathe. This is where a lot of people really struggle with cardio because they can't breathe because they're actually not breathing properly. And that's where I actually blend my core challenge with cardio to create this really glorious bridge so that you can go from not only really learning how to breathe and activate your core and strengthen your core, but you also learn how to apply that to other movements, specifically cardio, so that you can actually start doing cardio in a way that actually feels good and is incredibly effective, both for de-stressing and supporting your physical health. So that would be the foundation. Those are the foundational things I would really recommend if your goal is reducing belly fat and improving the tone in your legs. So you'd start with the core, start with the cardio, and then you can start building on some other foundational movements and exercises for legs as well. All, of course, while continuing to practice breathing properly and really balancing, like starting to challenge yourself to get better at these things, but still having plenty of time to recover and relax so that you are not throwing yourself back to phase 1 and being in survival mode. So that's phase 2. Let me know if you guys have questions on this. Phase 3, if you are actually in phase 3, you've already got these foundations down and you really are ready for the challenge, that's where we get more into the kind of traditional exercise where we're actually trying to boost your metabolism. We're trying to stimulate your muscles to grow and kind of redistribute things a little bit, while, of course, always still really supporting recovery. So it's always huge. You will always need that balance. It's like the yin and yang. Exercise is not just push, push, push. Exercise is actually push, recover. You can't have one without the other. So that's what you would be doing in the challenge phase. And that, of course, we would probably work on that to decide, okay, like how is your body moving? What movements are working well for you? And what specific exercise program are you needing in this phase? So that's one we would want to talk about a little bit more. Let's see, Sherry, let me see if I can get the comment to show. There we go. Okay, you have to make it a habit, then a routine. If you stop to think about it, you won't exercise. You can commit to move, easy, enjoyable, and easy, enjoyable, and effective. So whatever you believe will work for you. Love to dance. Do it. Do whatever you love. And it's true. I love what you said here because you said you have to make it a habit and then a routine. And that's totally like, that is the bridge between phase 1 and phase 2. First, you're making it that habit. You're getting out of survival mode. And then it becomes just an automatic routine. And that's when you know you're really in phase 2. So yeah, just again, commit to moving and then really acknowledge whatever you have done and just celebrate that. Don't be like, oh, I could have done 5 minutes more. I should have done 5 minutes more. Or I should have done this. Like, don't even worry about that. Just celebrate that you moved. Especially when you enjoyed it too. I think we need that reinforcement because we get social media, health and fitness industry, it really likes to push this expectation that like, if you're not doing this particular workout, then you're not doing enough. You're not like doing what you should be doing and all of that. So anytime you have done the exercise or done a movement that was enjoyable, reinforce that in your brain and just be like, that felt really good and I really enjoyed it and I know that's going to really work for me. Like, just toss all the other stuff. You don't need any of that other stuff that you should have done this, should have done that. Nah, you don't need it. So yeah. So I hope that helps, Sherry. Thank you so much for sharing that. So that is about it. Let's do a quick recap. So coming back, first start with which phase are you in? Are you in survival mode? Do you need to get out of that? Are you trying to get those foundations in place where you're just thriving consistently? Or are you really ready for a challenge? So decide where you are at with that. And then ask yourself, what is a way that you can commit to daily exercise or daily movement too? Like if exercise triggers that like, ugh, I hate exercise feeling, just use the word movement. Because your body was made to move. It's a beautiful thing. It's a gift to be able to move in whatever way feels good. So what is a way that you can commit to just moving your body? Come back to those 3 E's. Is it easy? Is it effective? Is it enjoyable? And then are you 90 to 100% confident you can do it today? So just always ask your body each day. Commit to the movement. Ask your body, what are we up for today? What do you want to try? What sounds good? And then go do it, reinforce it, be like, yay, I did it. You can even share it here in the group if you'd like. And if you need more help with this, of course, please do reach out to me. This is what I do with my clients. This is what we do in the Accountability and Consistency Club, which the doors will be opening for that here soon. I will drop the link too if you guys want to check it out and just learn more about the program and get on the wait list as well. I'll drop the link for you guys so that'll be opening here soon and we can get back in touch when you are ready. So let me know if you guys have questions on this. Let me know if it was helpful and I will circle back and check comments again later today too for anyone who's able to catch the replay. So thank you so much for joining us or joining me. Thank you all for joining me. It was lovely to have you here. I really appreciate this time and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.